The top 5 Cincinnati neighborhoods. Where should I live in Cincinnati, Ohio? Congratulations, you just accepted the job in Cincinnati. Pay is great, team feels right, and then it hits you. Where the heck are we actually going to live? You pull up the map, you see what looks like 100 little neighborhoods staring back at you, and your stomach drops. Well, here's the good news. You do not need to figure all those 100 neighborhoods out. You just need 5. Because almost everyone we help move to in this city ends up falling in love with one of these same 5 spots. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one fits your life. I want you to stick with us all the way to the end because we're saving the most underrated neighborhood for last. It's the one that almost no transplant looks at first and the one that almost everybody wishes they had found sooner. Well, quick hello before we dive in. My name is Peter Chabris of the Chabris Group right here in Cincinnati, and we're helping people land in the right neighborhood. Pretty much, it's all we do. In fact, last year alone, our team helped 613 families buy and sell homes across this city. We aren't reading off a website. We've stood on these porches, on these street corners, and we've driven these streets at school pickup. And with typical Cincinnati homes selling for around $290,000 compared to the national median of $400,000, your money goes incredibly far here. So let's spend it wisely. All right. Here are the top 5. Number 1, Hyde Park, the classic Cincinnati address that everyone always asks about. So we're going to start with Hyde Park because it's the one name that comes up in nearly every relocation call that we get. And there's a reason for that. Hyde Park has a town square, a real town square. Picture like a green park right in the middle with coffee shops and restaurants, art galleries wrapped all the way around it. Families walking dogs, kids getting ice cream on a Friday night. It feels like a small town that somehow lives inside a big city. So who's it for? Well, it's for the buyer who wants to walk out the front door and already be somewhere. Young professionals love it. So do families who want charms, sidewalks, and easy commutes downtown. In fact, it's where my wife and I got started when we first moved to Cincinnati. Now, let me be straight with you about the trade-off. Charm comes with a price. According to Redfin, the median home in Hyde Park sells for right around $560,000, which sits well above the city average that we just talked about. You're paying for the location and that walk to everything lifestyle. And from the time that we have spent showing homes there, the ones near the square move fast, so you have to come ready. But not everybody wants that city buzz at their doorstep. Some of you want the city paycheck with a little more breathing room, and that takes us just north of the city limits. Blue Ash, where great jobs and great living meet. Blue Ash is a community we point to when someone says, I want a short commute, top amenities, and a real sense of community all at once. Oh, and by the way, I want a great school district. Technically an independent city, Blue Ash is one of the region's biggest job hubs, home to corporate offices. That means many people who live here can roll out of bed and be at their desk in 10 minutes. That one thing alone can change your whole life. But Blue Ash is so much more than work. The city pours money right back into its people. There's a huge summer concert series, a beautiful recreation center, golf, parks, and an events calendar that stays full year-round. It also sits in the Sycamore School District, a name that relocating parents research early and trust quickly. So who is it for? Well, certainly the trade-up buyer and the busy professional family who just want comfort, convenience, and a community that actually does things together. The trade-off here is plain. Blue Ash is established and is in demand, so the well-kept homes, they get attention quickly, and the prices reflect just how badly people want to move in. And speaking of school districts that families chase, there is one community in this region that pulls in more relocating families than almost anywhere else. We get asked about it constantly, and that is Mason, the family magnet built for relocation. So if you're moving here with kids, you've probably already typed Mason into that search bar. And located just outside the city limits, Mason feels like it was built for growing families. Top-rated schools, brand new neighborhoods, big yards, and shopping and dining that get better every single year. It's also home to Kings Island and the major tennis stadium, so there is always something to do in Mason nearby. Here's why transplants love it so much. A lot of Mason is newer construction, and that means open floor plans, modern kitchens, and the kind of move-in ready home that makes a stressful relocation feel easy. Typical home values in Mason land comfortably in the low 500s for a turnkey property, and you'll get a lot of house for that. So who's it for? Well, the relocating family, the professional transferee, and anyone who wants top schools without having to hunt for them. The real trade-off? Well, Mason sits a little further out, so if your office is downtown, do yourself a favor and test that drive before you fall in love with your floor plan. So far, we have covered the walkable charm of Hyde Park, the work and play balance of Blue Ash, and the family-first pull of Mason. But the best pick for your money is still coming, and it's the one that most newcomers completely overlook. But real quick, if you're moving to Cincinnati, we put together a free relocation guide that breaks down neighborhoods, schools, and what your budget really buys you here. The link is in the description, or you can scan the code on your screen right now. Grab it and let's keep going, because the next two are where it gets good. Montgomery, small town heart with big league schools. So if Mason is the sprawling master plan suburb, Montgomery is the historic boutique cousin. It surprises people with just how lovely Montgomery is. Like our last two spots, it is an independent municipality with a historic little downtown. You know, the kind with festivals, farmers market, and restaurants that people will drive clear across town for. It feels like a postcard, and it is wrapped in some of the very best schools in the entire state. We love it. In fact, our office is in the heart of the historic district. So who's it for? Well, certainly the move-up buyer who's built a little equity and wants to plant deep roots somewhere truly special. This is a place people buy and then they never really want to leave. The trade-off, of course, is simple. Montgomery is the premium pick on the list. Homes often run well into the $600,000, so it asks a lot of your budget. But for families who want the whole package within one zip code, many folks decide it's worth every single penny. Now, here's the one I promised to you way back at the start. The neighborhood that almost nobody from out of town puts on their first list, and the one we quietly guide so many smart buyers towards. Number 5, Anderson Township, the underrated pick that stretches your dollar. So Anderson Township sits on the east side of Cincinnati, and let me tell you why we love it for the right buyer. You get rolling green, established neighborhoods, fantastic parks and trails, and the well-regarded Forest Hills School District. It has that rooted, settled feeling that the newer suburbs simply are still trying to grow into. And here is the part that matters most. Your dollar simply goes further out here. While several of our past picks push prices well over $500,000, Anderson homes often land comfortably in the $300,000 to $400,000 range, and that means more square footage, bigger yard, and more breathing room for the same money. So for a family that wants space and nature without the premium price tag, it's the quiet winner that people are thrilled to discover. So who's it for? The first-time buyer or families hunting for real value, and the family that love being outdoors. The trade-off, of course, is going to be the location. Anderson is on the east side, so map your commute carefully, especially if you happen to work on the far west side of town. So these are our 5. The question is no longer where we could possibly live, it's which one of these is us. And that brings me to the single biggest mistake that we see people make when they relocate to Cincinnati. Here's the number one mistake that buyers make when they're picking a Cincinnati neighborhood. They fall in love with a house before they fall in love with the neighborhood. They'll scroll through the photos and get attached to a pretty kitchen and skip the part that actually shapes their daily experience. The streets, the schools, the drive, the feeling of a place on a normal Tuesday. So please don't do that. The core lesson here is simple. Pick the life and the lifestyle first, then pick the house. And if you're already in town or planning a house hunting trip soon, do this. Choose just one neighborhood from this list and go spend a Saturday there. Walk the square, grab a coffee, drive the streets around school pickup. You will learn a ton, more in 3 hours on the ground than in 3 weeks of scrolling online. One more thing to keep in mind on timing. According to Freddie Mac, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate was around 6.5% in June 2026, down from nearly 6.9% a year earlier. Rates will always move around, but the right neighborhood does not. So picture it. A year from now, you're pulling into your driveway in a community that fits your family like it was made for you. That feeling right there is what this whole search is really about. So if you want help finding your next spot, please reach out to us. Our team does exactly this every single day, and we would love to walk you through it street by street. And make sure to grab that free location guide in the description below, or just leave a comment and we will point you in the right direction. And before you go, if you want to get ahead of the crowd, watch this video next. Cincinnati, Ohio's up-and-coming neighborhoods, the ones to watch in 2026. Those are the areas that smart buyers are getting into early, and you do not want to miss them. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.